Wow, it's always so wonderful to come to Femme Talks and to see the love in this room and the support in the community. And it just feels wonderful to be back here on this stage again. So when Jessica told me that there was an opportunity to talk on the panel about balancing motherhood and career success, I was so excited because I'm going to be able to talk to you about the secret ingredient that's going to boost your careers. And here's the best news. It's not going to cost you any money. It's going to fill you and fulfill you. You're going to have some fun and pleasure with it. Right? It's good stuff. But before we get started, I want to ask a question, a couple of questions. And if you're in agreement with this, will you guys just tinkle your fingers like this? I'm going to kind of go through a bunch of questions. So who in this room is exhausted most of their time, most of their life? Tinkle? Yeah, and who would say that they have primary responsibility for taking care of the kids? Yeah, and for making sure that the groceries are collected, that dinner's on the table. Who takes care of the pets in the family? It's important, it's really important. And who actually also takes care of the finances in the family? Yeah. So is there any wonder why we are so exhausted all the time? Welcome to Working Motherhood. And how many, by the way, are working moms in the room as well? Yeah, a lot of people. So tonight I'm going to tell you how sex is the secret ingredient, it's true, to career and business success. We're going to cover 3 different topics. First, we're going to talk about how we can connect to and tap into the power of our feminine sexual energy and how that can really change our business and our life. Then we're going to talk about the power of surrender and how that's something we cultivate during sex and how important it is for us to be able to surrender into our business in order for our businesses to really grow. And then we're going to do a little exercise about a skill that's really hard for women, and it's about being able to ask for what you need. So let's start by talking about our sexual center and our energy. In Naomi Wolf's book, Vagina, she talks about the woman's vagina as being the center of her creativity and her power. I want to say that again. A woman's vagina is the center of her creativity and her power. So what does that actually mean? How does that translate? Well, as we all know, our sexual center, our uterus, our ovaries, our vagina, is where life is created from. And the ability to create life, the power to create life, is absolutely the most potent power that exists in the entire world. So if we can learn how to actually tap into this power to not only to create life and to procreate, but to create new ideas and to create new businesses and new relationships, we're going to completely transform our business and our life. So how does this work? Well, this is really about the law of attraction. When we are connected to our sexual energy, when our energy is flowing, which means that we're having sex. And by the way, when I'm talking about having sex, you can be having solo sex, you can be having group sex, you can be having partner sex. It doesn't matter as long as your sexual energy is flowing. When that is happening, we are basically attracting all that we want to create and have in our life when we're not blocked in our sexual center. And the opposite happens when we do have blockages. We're actually pushing away all that we want. And that actually can't happen in our life. So I like to call this transformative sex. It's a good term. I want to give you an example, actually 2 examples of how transformative sex works. I'm the first example. I haven't always been a sex and intimacy coach. I was a lawyer. But for a really good portion of my life, I was actually running some very large multi-million-dollar not-for-profit organizations in Washington, D.C. and New York. And I was the mother of 2, at the time, young children, and I was married for over 2 decades. On the outside, it seemed like I was having this incredible life. But in truth, very few people knew that I actually stopped having sex when I was 28 years old after my second child was born. Now, sex was really painful for me. I actually had a lot of wounding around it. And so it was logical for me just to decide to close shop. I didn't realize the impact of this decision until I hit my mid-40s. And I hit my mid-40s, I was this very successful, powerful businesswoman. And honestly, I was really a miserable woman inside. And that showed up in my relationship with my husband because we had no relationship and we certainly had no sex. My kids felt my unhappiness. And quite frankly, I really wasn't as productive as I should have been even in my business life. And I turned inside and I was like, there is something really missing in my life and I have no idea what it is. But I don't know what it's like to be really a powerful woman. And I can say that now because now I really am a powerful woman. It wasn't until I was able to connect with my sexual energy that I was able to see what was actually going on. And that actually happened when I finally left my husband after 26 years, and I was introduced to Tantra and sacred sexuality. And that was my doorway into sexual awakening and healing. And once my sexual energy started flowing, once I was able to get unblocked and I was having sex and orgasms and everything was really juicy, my life transformed like this on a dime. I left New York City, like overnight, I moved to the West Coast where I knew nobody, and I immersed myself in every human sexuality training and certification program that exists on this earth. It's true. And I created my business, The Power of Pleasure. And that business grew and it transformed. And another thing happened that was incredibly amazing. I tapped into this well of creativity that I didn't even know existed in me. Like I was this right brain logical lawyer. And all of a sudden I was like writing blogs and writing articles and speaking and teaching. And that all happened when this sexual energy, I was able to learn how to make it work for me transformatively. There's another thing I want to talk about with respect to feminine sexual energy. And it might be slightly controversial, but I firmly believe that as women, we need to take our femininity and our sexual energy and bring it into the workplace and into our businesses. And one of the characters that we actually develop we cultivate during sex is the seductress, yes? And the seductress can be very, very potent and very powerful, because she can bring people into her lair and she can get people to do what they didn't anticipate doing because they want to please her. And this is something that I was really good at in my career. Like I was able to get people to write really large checks with lots of zeros after it and renegotiate contract terms to make them more favorable to my company. People liked me, and when we use our feminine nature, our feminine energy, and the emotional intelligence that we have, we're amazing. We can walk into a room and read the room. Men can't do that, most of them. When we connect with people on a one-on-one basis that way, they like us. And you know what happens when people like you? People give money to people that they like. People do business with people that they like. This is true. And clients hire you because they like you. Tapping into our sexual energy, very, very powerful. Now I want to talk about the power of surrender. Okay, so who here is willing to admit that they read 50 Shades of Grey? Raise your hands. Okay, whoa, come on, guys. Okay, so I'm going you guys, you are the exception to the rule. 50 Shades of Grey, which I read all 3 volumes, I couldn't put it down. Thank you very much. Has sold 100 million copies. It has made publishing history. Why has that happened? It's certainly not because of the writing. And it's definitely probably not because of the story. But let me tell you why 100 million women, it's been translated into 51 languages, are connecting to this book. Because they are having a very deep emotional cathartic experience about what it's like as a woman to surrender into very strong dominant male sexual energy. Yeah? Who here considers himself a control freak? Yeah. That's also a little bit part of our nature. Daniel Bergman wrote this great book about female sexual desire, What Women Want, and he interviewed all of these researchers. Anybody want to venture a guess what the most common sexual fantasy is? Being raped. Being raped and gangbanged. Those are the two most common sexual fantasies of women. Now, taking aside how horrible that is in reality, because I deal with that with my clients on an everyday basis, it's still the most common fantasy. And why? Because in those situations, you have no choice but to absolutely to lose control and to completely surrender. And that is really part of women's feminine nature. The desire to really surrender into masculine, strong energy is really a part of our nature. And that's something we cultivate during sex. And here's how it applies to your business. Has anybody ever felt completely out of control in their business? So we can't control everything, and I want to tell you what happened to me. When I started my business, like everybody else who has started a business or a new career, I had like 14 million things that I wanted to get accomplished, right? But I was like a rat on a treadmill. I couldn't get a single thing done. I was just spinning my wheels. So finally, in exasperation, I called a very dear friend who's a business coach, and I said, like, what do I do? And he said to me, Xanet, here's the thing you need to learn. The only thing you can do is to see the next step ahead of you. You cannot see 5 steps ahead of you. You cannot see 10 steps ahead of you. But you can see the next step ahead of you. And if you can learn to surrender into that belief, your business is going to absolutely explode. I had a really hard time believing this, right? But I tried it. And you know what happened? It was incredible. I started sleeping at night. Yeah. I wasn't as stressed out. I had a lot more energy and a lot more focus, and that next step was absolutely awesome. And just as he predicted, when the next step was ready to reveal itself, it did reveal itself to me. And had I been so focused on having to know where I was going to be 5 steps ahead or 10 steps ahead, I would have lost a lot of opportunities to be able to take my business in different directions I didn't expect to go. Okay, so now, my favorite part of the evening, we're going to do a little experiment. I want everybody to stand up and find a partner. So turn to the woman next to you. If you don't have a partner, raise your hand. Okay, shh. So I want everyone, the woman with the short hair is going to go first. Okay? Shh. Okay, and I'm going to take you through a little visualization. So everyone close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath together. Great. So I want you to imagine that you are Cinderella. And you are all dressed up in your ball gown, however you visualize it, and you're wearing your slippers. And you open your eyes, and you're facing, I want you to open your eyes, and you're facing your fairy godmother who has a wand in her hand. And your fairy godmother says, Cinderella, I'm going to grant you any wish you want. But shh. But you only have 30 seconds to tell me what it is, and the time starts now. Go. Okay, stop. Stop, stop. to reverse it. So again, shh, Cinderella, close your eyes. Cinderella, your fairy godmother is standing in front of you, and she's going to grant you one wish that will completely transform your business life. And you have 30 seconds to tell her what it is. Go. We're done. Shh. Okay, so by a show of hands, who had a hard time with that exercise? Did anybody have a hard time coming up with what they actually wanted? Yeah. So this is, let's all get back to our seats. So this is a really important skill for women to learn, to be able to really talk about and communicate what our needs are. And this is really important that we do during sex. And it's really important for us to do it in our business life and our personal life as well. And it's really hard because we're so focused on everybody else's needs except our own. We're focused on our kids' needs, we're focused on our partner's needs, we're focused on our boss's needs and even our employees' needs. But learning how to be able to really understand what your needs are and communicate it, extraordinarily powerful. And that will also really help you grow your business and transform your life. So I want to leave you with this one thought. As women, we're so beautiful and we're so unique. And I want you to be able to use every asset that you have, tapping into your creative and sexual power, bringing the seductress into the room, being able to ask for what you want. That's all going to really help you make your life and your business completely different and transformative. Thank you. Ah, yes. I have an offer, though. Yeah. Okay. Oh. So, my offer for you tonight is, first of all, for everyone, if you sign up for my email newsletter, this is an example of me learning how to surrender. I used to say that I did a weekly sex advice blog post, but the reality is it comes out about every 10 or 12 days. So, so if you sign up for a newsletter, you will get my weekly, my monthly sex advice blog post. And I'd love to have you receive that. And also, if you sign up, you will also receive an audio recording, 5 ways to juice up your sex life right now. I want to help you learn how to really implement the tools that I gave you, the information that I gave you. And I do this very much in my practice, in my coaching one-on-one practice. But because I've been doing a really good job at implementing it, my practice is pretty much full at this point. And so I have a couple of spots, and if you're interested in working with me, just come see me afterwards. So what I'm doing is, because I really want to make my work so much more widely available to so many more women, I'm starting a group coaching program. I'm very excited about it. It's called Girlfriend Sex Talk, and it's going to launch this January. It's going to be a 6-week teleseminar program which you can do in the comfort of your own home. And we're going to focus on a lot of different issues, but first we're going to look at what's blocking our sexual energy and how can we unblock it. I'm going to give you tools and exercises and ways in which you can learn how to really tap into that sexual energy and that creative energy, and that's going to give you more pleasure, It's going to be more enjoyable for you. You're going to be able to feel your emotions and a lot more things at a much deeper level. We're definitely going to work on surrender, and also, how do we lose the goal orientation around sex? How do we surrender into losing that goal orientation? And this is really important. I'm going to work with you on understanding your own arousal, your own unique arousal pattern. That's very important for us as women to have a sense of what that is. It's going to be experiential, it's going to be interactive, there's going to be a workbook, there's going to be some audio, there's going to be lots of time for sharing and for questions and answers. And when I launch this in a couple of weeks, my launch price is going to be $597 for the program. But I'm making a really special offer tonight, and really tonight only for this group, of $397 to come and join me and other wonderful women on this journey. And so if that's of interest to you, please just come and see us after my table and at the back. And I have a raffle prize. So my raffle prize is, not surprisingly, 2 registrations for 2 different women for my Girlfriend Sex Talk teleseminar. Anyone else?
Can you say what it is again?
Yes, it's 2 registrations for my Girlfriend Sex Talk teleseminar. It's 2 free registrations.
Wow, awesome. All right, that's some drum roll, please. All right, go ahead and pick 2.
Okay, so the first person is, I have my glasses on, Elizabeth Hahn. Woo! And the second person is Amy Tanathon. Awesome, excellent. So come see me afterwards.